Yes, hello, good morning, everyone. It's Esther Mujoroshi from ICLEI World Secretariat speaking, and I would like to welcome you to today's webinar on TAP. And just before we get started, to go over a few items that you know how to participate in today's event. So very importantly, the webinar will be recorded and the link will be shared with you after the webinar. You are muted and you have to use to raise your hand when you have questions, and during the presentation you have the opportunity to submit text questions by typing your questions into the question pane of the control panel. So we will collect those questions, but I would really like today's webinar to be interactive. So I have a presentation what I prepared just to help us to guide this webinar, but I will stop after each block, and I would like to give the opportunity for questions and answers and discussions. So starting to have a look at the agenda. Yes, so the agenda for today, I would like to talk about the TAP stock taking. This document was shared with you, so you all know that, and many thanks for those who provided comments on that. I would like to talk about the TAP project screening process we are busy with, and I would like to discuss with you your experience of the TAP marketplace we organized at the Resilient Cities Congress. We are preparing for the new call, and I would like to say a few words on that, asking also for your support. And I also shared with you the TAP financial toolkit we are planning to develop and to be launched by COP this year. So starting with the TAP stock taking, I think many of you were curious, and I really hope that this stock taking document answers questions on what happened between 2015 when the TAP was first launched till today. And actually a lot. So as you know, in 2015, there was really a huge effort of mobilizing projects, and there were 122 projects submitted. Thanks for your support and contribution. And now when I joined ICLEI a year ago, one of my first tasks was to track what happened to those projects. And again, many thanks for all of you who supported me, giving feedback and tracking those projects. So based on your feedback, what I can see that by today, 23 projects were tapped meaning successfully accessed finance or got implemented. Out of that, 21 are from 2015 applications, and 2 already from the second TAP call 2018. So in this TAP stock taking document you all received, there is a detailed list of what exactly happened. So I wouldn't like to repeat it now, because there we listed which international events or which small grants were provided, which workshops were held, and how the TAP partnership also evolved. So the progress made in last year when the second TAP call was launched. So we have the new TAP concept, which we prepared last July with your contribution. Many thanks again for all your support. We have the new eligibility criteria. We changed the application form, which is now harmonized with the C40, the CDP, the source, and also the GIZ, European Investment Bank Felicity program. We have a new partnership. We have a special focus on service provided by ICLEI and partners. So that's what we did all last year before we launched the second call, which was launched at GCAS in September. And in this new call, we received 27 applications. equally balanced from Africa and from Latin America and the Caribbean, and actually one project from Southeast Asia. So what are our ongoing activities at the moment? We still seek funding to support the TAP, so to support the annual call for the TAP applications, to mobilize the projects, to translate the application form, all the related communication activities, and the TAP project screening. So we still haven't got a partner funding all that activity, but we have a TAP proposal elaborated and we try to pitch it wherever it is possible. So we are also active member of the CCFLA, the Cities Climate Finance Leadership Alliance, and also the Finance Technical Working Group of the GCOM. So of course, also in these forums, we use promoting the TAP, and wherever see the opportunity to include TAP in related strategic documents, we always do. What a great success story of the past year was the European Investment Bank call, the European Investment Bank GCOM call, the Global Climate City Challenge, so-called GCC, where 15 TAP projects were submitted. Also because I think it was a great from their side allowing that projects could use their TAP application form, submitting their proposal, and they didn't have to fill out a new application form. But what is the great success factor of that is that out of these 15 TAP projects, 8 are long listed, meaning that they are on the list of those 20 projects, out of which 6 will be selected, shortlisted, and we will get the technical assistance. So the shortlist will be announced of those 6 winners at the UNSG summit in September. So hopefully, we don't know, we have no influence on that anymore, but hopefully there will be some TAP projects included. So as already said, we always try to include TAP in strategic documents. So whenever we have a submission for the UN or for the GCF or project proposals, relevant project proposals, we always promote the TAP, we always include it. And of course at international events, and what we are now busy with, we started already the preparation for the new call. I will tell more about it later. And we constantly invite new TAP partners. So we are constantly in negotiations also. Yeah, next week, in the following weeks, we have a discussion with potential new partners. And as you see, the list of the partners from 2015 to today changed. So in 2015, the partnership was more around the COP21 event, the City Pavilion event. This time, this partnership, what we have now, it's a bit different and relates a lot to what I already said, that we have now a special focus on services. So whenever we go into partnership with someone, now we really try to define as much as possible, as detailed as possible, what are really the activities what we would like to do together. So the partners who are now listed here, they all have a clear defined role, how they contribute to the TAP. And what we also do now with these partners to try to organize regular partners meetings, so that we regularly inform each other, that we are in synergies, that we don't overlap or duplicate efforts, and that we can also speak with one voice to different donors. So regarding the TAP pipeline at the moment, we have 44 projects representing like 1.5 billion euro investment opportunity. And how we get to this number 44? So this is a combination of projects from 2015 uh, who confirmed to stay in the pipeline, and also projects from 2018, so from the new call, from the second call. And beginning of May, we had 50 projects. So these 44 projects, it's already a result of the screening, which I will also talk about more details later, as the goal is that we have in the pipeline only projects which are screened and TAP approved. So looking at the regional distribution of this recent pipeline, you can see that most of our projects are from Latin America and the Caribbean, followed by Africa and then Asia. So the TAP is still globally open. So it's still open for global north and global south. Somehow at the moment in our pipeline, we only have global south projects, but also when opening the pipeline again in September, the call will be open also for the global north. So the sectoral distribution didn't change much since 2015. Still, we have most of the projects in the energy sector, followed by the transport and the water. And we changed a bit also the visual regarding the TAP process. We have a new TAP flyer you might have seen already at the Resilient Cities Congress in Bonn. So the new flyer already has these new 3 steps, which is not that much different from last year. It's just we adjusted it a bit based on the experience of the past year. And maybe I stop here now because this slide relates a lot to the next topic, which is on the TAP project screening. So if you have questions on related to the top, what I just said, yeah, this is the opportunity.
Esther, I see that we have a question from Ariel Dekovic, and it's regarding the partners. So they're asking if these are mixed financial partners and technical partners, which are in the tab.
Yes, it's a mixture, and that's actually how we also would like to keep it. And because we need both, we need financial partners, and we also need technical partners. So Better West is a financial partner. They bring in a new opportunity with crowdfunding. They already attended the TAP marketplace at Resilient Cities, and they already followed up with 2 projects from Indonesia. So hopefully those can be 2 pilots, but it's very early to talk about that. Then the other financial partner is the European Investment Bank. With them, we had and we are still having this cooperation around the Global Climate City Challenge. And in the future, we hope for some similar collaboration with them. And another financial partner is the R20, who is planning to launch their subnational climate fund for Africa later this year, and then they would like to replicate it, as I understood, for Latin America and the small islands. But those are still plans. Still, our plan is that once those funds, subnational climate funds, are launched, then we can feed in the TAP projects there. And another semi-financial partner is the UN Capital Development Fund at the moment. With them, our collaboration has a focus on their new fund to be launched in October in Malaga, the International Municipal Investment Fund. And of course, there the idea is that using TAP projects for their fund, when of course meeting the eligibility criteria. The other partners are more technical partners. So for example, the FMDV, they have a very strong expertise coaching on bankability, financeability, project development. So, but of course, with these technical partners, they have a very strong technical expertise, but the collaboration always depends on funding available. So with those partners, we always have to do fundraising together, writing project proposals together. So yeah, and as said, constantly looking for new partners. And as I see the resilient cities, it was also it accelerated this process because there we invited a lot of potential partners. And since resilient cities, I'm receiving many emails, so we managed to raise interest. And I think now also those potential partners understood better what does it mean to be a TAP partner, and they seem to be very pleased also the TAP partners meeting we organized at Resilient Cities.
Thanks, Esther. Okay, I also ask how many of them, but I guess you already give some explanation already about the ones that we have available. And Adrian Lotter is asking, does the TAP approval assess any financial feasibility, or does TAP approval provide any indication of bankability to potential investors?
So yes, actually it leads already to the TAP project screening. And then maybe it's also time to then explain then this visual you see here on this slide. So how it works at the moment. We get the TAP applications mobilized through the regional offices, and then at the World Secretariat, we prepared a project screening document, a scoring sheet, which was shared with you. But please let me know if you didn't receive those documents, because I believe I shared the documents with whom I thought to be relevant. But please, if you don't have the stock taking document, if you don't have the screening, the scoring sheet, and the financial toolkit, so any other documents mentioned during this webinar, please let me know, because I'm happy to resend them. It's very important that all you know those documents. So we developed a TAP scoring sheet, which was also based on experience and what we see, what financial partners are usually interested in. So we incorporated their cities we saw used by FMDV or C40 or GIZ or the European Investment Bank. Of course, with these scoring sheets, you cannot have one really unified, harmonized scoring sheet, especially because everyone has a different interest. So our focus at TAP, it's on the transformative impact. So our scoring sheet has a focus on that. And what we would like that it's internationally accepted, this scoring sheet. We are already in negotiations with some partners. So, for example, with UNCDF, because as said, they are planning to launch a new fund, and we are already discussing with them. Okay, so for your fund, when you will define the eligibility criteria, your project selection, also to include this step screening process. Then, of course, they also have other criterias, because at the TAP screening, we only focus on the transformative impact. And for example, UNCDF, they also will have to check some financial indicators, but we at ICLAI don't do, because anyway, usually we cannot really offer, any grants, technical assistance, or so. But yes, so the goal is that this TAP seal, that this is internationally approved and used also by our TAP partners and also other financial institutions. So far, to whom we already showed our screening and scoring sheet, they liked it a lot. But as said, it has a specific focus on transformative impact. So it can be, as we see it now, only part of the screening and scoring system of other institutions, other partners. And that's also why it is very important for us that only projects what we have in the pipeline are screened and scored high, because we have to prove that this deal we don't give it to anyone, that we take it seriously, and the projects in the pipeline have a really strong transformative impact.
Thank you, Esther. Does anyone else have some questions?
I'm just trying to go to the next slide again. Okay, by going to the next slide, I continue because I don't want to waste your time with these technical issues. So, staying with the project screening. So what we do at World Secretariat is, of course, we check the completeness of the project, if the application form was filled out and all questions answered, and the eligibility criteria is, of course, that if the project was submitted by a local government or a partner where the local government is the key stakeholder. So if it's not the case, we anyway don't even screen then the project, and we have a look at the criteria, what we defined, that we have a hard infrastructure project. So if a project is a soft infrastructure, then we don't even screen that project, we don't score. So that's also, for example, one of the results of the recent screening. I told you that we started the screening in May with 50 projects, and we still don't have the final results for all, but we identified 5 projects which are soft projects, so those we took out of the pipeline. And while doing the screening, we also understood that there is a project which was meanwhile already tapped, meaning successfully accessed finance, so not relevant for the pipeline. So the status of this screening, the plan was to finish the screening by this webinar, and many thanks for all your contribution and help with that. Where we are as of today, we have the final score for 26 projects, and what I see that all the projects having the final score, they are all above 60%, and many of them, the vast majority, as you see, above 70%, and many above 80%, which is a great result. So especially comparing to experience we had being involved, for example, in project screening of the European Investment Bank Global Climate City Challenge, I really have to say, and many thanks, because it's really your effort, regional offices, that we get really very good quality projects. So you to be already on ground and helping to develop these project proposals and TAP applications, it's a great added value. So what are the next steps now? So as we still don't have the final scores, but we are already in contact with all projects through you, through the regional offices. So I really would like to close the screening end of August, because for the missing projects, usually the case is that we are just waiting for feedback. We sent already some clarification questions, and we are still waiting. So by end of August, we really would like to close the screening. And then, as said, projects above the 60% will receive the TAP approved seal, and they will be the one staying in the pipeline. And so for projects being in the pipeline, then WS will keep on looking for matching opportunities, which can be project preparation facilities, or technical assistance, or funding opportunities, or increasing visibility. So projects being in the pipeline will be our priority projects, and we will keep on trying to find the best matching technical or financial partner to help those projects to move. So after finishing the screening, we will at WS make recommendations for improvement based on our findings, and then of course, yeah, it's up to you and the applicant what you do with with those recommendations. I cannot force you to then start to work on the application forms and revise, but I strongly suggest, of course. And also, here is the experience, for example, of Yaoundé, who submitted their TAP application form, and then they had the chance to take to participate a workshop provided by FMDV, Climate Kick, MAVA Foundation in December, and where they got a lot of recommendations from them to improve their project proposal, which they did. And then they sent us also this revised application form, and this was the application form they also used for the European Investment Bank call, where they were ranked like the highest scored project among the 145. So it does make sense to work on recommendations, and we will make those recommendations. So I, based on the transformative impact of the project, and yeah, I have to ask your support with that, but of course I cannot make it mandatory. So any questions on the project screening? Okay, if no question, then I would like to continue with the TAP marketplace. And again, thank you so much, regional offices, your contribution. So far, what I hear from the TAP partners, they were very, very pleased attending this TAP marketplace. So what I really would like to hear is your experience, because as you know, those who were there know that I was responsible for organizing the whole marketplace, but unfortunately I didn't have the opportunity to listen to the bilateral discussions. What I heard already from the TAP partners, they found it a very good idea that each bilateral discussion was supported by a regional office. So it seems to be a good concept. What I heard as a feedback from them, they were lacking a bit that they didn't receive information on the projects before the TAP marketplace, that they could prepare better. So this is a suggestion if we organize something like this again, that those questions, those short slides that were shared with you, helping your preparation for the TAP marketplace. So to make them ready already before such a marketplace that we can share with the partners, and they also have a better understanding on the project before meeting you. um, I'm also waiting to get back the questionnaires I sent you by end of August. It's really just 3 questions, very short, but we would like it to be documented, to understand better what worked well, what didn't work well, and what your experience with the tap marketplace was. Um, and here now, I really would like to give you the floor for those who attended the TAP Marketplace to give me your feedback and to share with us your experience.
Okay. During the top marketplace, I was seated with Bogor Regency. So it's one of the satellite cities of the Urban Leds project in Indonesia. And we were able to discuss with four institutions, at least one of which has already made a follow-up. This is a Better Vest. And we were also able to discuss with DG DevCo, although they mentioned that basically they are able to funnel funds not directly through cities but through other entities, such as what they are doing through the Urban Lens project. So all in all, I think that Ms. Muji, the Bogor Regency representative, was happy in the sense that we were able to pick out some concrete steps for moving forward. And actually, the ball is now with Bogor Regency in that they would have to share more details with Better Vest. If I would have some recommendations in terms of improvement, it may be that some of the organizations, institutions attending the TAP session at the time are more catered for large scale projects, meaning the cost of the project with the range required by some of the um, institutions. I'm trying to pull up my notes to identify the specific organization. But yeah, I think at least that's one concrete feedback that I can share at the moment.
Yeah, it's general issue with a large and a small scale. So yeah, yeah, Better West can be good for small scale ones, but yeah, I know you also talked to GIZ Felicity.
Ah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I think that can be interesting because they are just planning to expand Felicity to Indonesia, so they are still in the phase of identifying projects. So I certainly would keep an eye on that one.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember that they mentioned about venturing into Indonesia, the Felicity, and I think that this would be kind of facilitated by the GIZ country office there, if
Hmm.
I'm not mistaken.
Hmm. And
They are just waiting for the approval at the national government. I think
hmm
they're still ironing out some details. Yeah,
hmm
yeah, but we'll,
because
we'll definitely keep that in mind as well.
yes, and also because Felicity, okay, not two small scale projects, but their limit is 5 million. So they approve projects from 5 million. So I think 5 million is
Mhm.
already doable. So it's not so large scale as sometimes required by European Investment Bank, where they wanted at least 30 million. So it's more feasible. Hmm. I will also keep an eye on that because we are regularly in contact, and we anyway have a call with them on Felicity next week. So
Mhm.
I will also push it from here. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Also, Ranel, if you can send this questionnaire that you just write down your thoughts really briefly, that would be really useful for us.
Okay.
Hmm. And Joy?
Hi, yes. In addition to what Vanel mentioned, I was paired up with Pax Sorianto from Balikpapan City during the TAC marketplace, and he was also very pleased with how the session went through. So I just have a couple of notes. Some good points is that Bogor City was very prepared for the TAC marketplace. They have this one-pager document which summarizes all the key details of the of their proposal. So I'm not sure how this other cities uh, summarize their proposal, but it was a very good way to readily give to the potential donors. Another thing that I noted is that it was interesting how you did the pairings because we had four funders. It was GIZ for the city, Better Best, AIIB, and UNCTF. But the three, they said that they're interested with the proposal. However, with AIIB, they mentioned that the project was too small for them. So they fund bigger projects. And also similar with Renel, Better Vest was already able to follow up with the Bogor City. So they will be able to provide a loan. During the TAP marketplace, they also mentioned that they can pair up Balikpapan with, I can't remember the name of the organization, but it's an organization that can provide a certain amount of grant for their project proposal. So I will check my notes on the name of the organization. And then another one is GIZ Felicity. As you've mentioned, they have a local partner in Indonesia. So that's a good thing because the city wouldn't have to translate their existing documents, such as the pre-feasibility study for the waste to energy facility. So they can readily submit the Bahasa Indonesia version of the study. And one last note is that most of the funders cannot readily funnel the budget directly to the city. I think it has to go through to the national government. So it would be good to have
Yes.
maybe some representatives from the national government, maybe in other activities like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, yeah, not me, but I think we can help with that. So Marika, Yunus, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Better West also informed us that yeah, they followed up with those two. So we are also keeping an eye on that, and it would be great if we can pilot. And just as you said, yeah, AIIB, they wanted to meet you or Balikpapan. But then, yeah, indeed, he also told me that the project is unfortunately too small. So how this step marketplace was put together, it took months. So don't underestimate, because I was constantly in contact with all these partners. So first to see who is coming, and then to see what their regional preferences or what type of projects they are interested in parallel, talking to regional offices, who is at the end coming at all. So it took quite a while to put these metrics and the pairing together. We will have a call with the TAP partners, and they also received this questionnaire to be sent out next week. So I'm also looking more for their feedback, because so far what I heard was all just based on bilateral discussions. But please send this questionnaire. It's very, very important for us to see and understand, and because overall my impression is that it was a good idea to organize the marketplace, and it's a good idea to organize it again, so replicate, but it's very important to learn from this experience. So if no more comments on the top marketplace, then I cannot move my slide again, but I wanted to talk about the TAP call we plan to announce at the UNSG Summit in September. So it will be around the 20th of September, and this is one of the topics we would like to discuss with the TAP partners in our call next week to find the way to announce who from our tech partners would be, for example, the best to announce the new call. Last year we did it together with the European Investment Bank, and that time it fit very well to their Global Climate City Challenge call. So we are looking now for a similar opportunity. And before announcing the new call, I'm planning to revise the TAP application form. I don't plan to do big changes. It's more to make it even simpler and also to delete and include some questions based on past year experience when talking to different partners, what they focus is on. But generally,
So now it
Uh,
looks like we are back, but yeah, we have problems with internet.
okay. So sorry for that. I was just saying that we're trying to write the tab application form already this week, so that we have enough time. That then we have enough time for the translations, because it would be really great if we can translate the
application form to Spanish and French at least. Maybe maybe also to other languages you find necessary, but those two for sure. And here I would like to have your support just as past years. And regarding the procedure for submitting applications, we would like to follow the way we did it last year, so that we will open again on the TAP website the registration and apply window. So applicants can register there, download the application form from the website, and then submit it to the TAP email account. So we haven't discussed it yet internally, but our goal is at the moment, as it looks like, that we open the applications at UNSG Summit and we close it by the COP. So that's any question on the new call and the application.
I think Ariel was suggesting to go back a bit. Maybe you can explain again, because maybe due to the lost connection in the last session, what you were explaining about the tab application, the new call. Maybe you can repeat that, since we lost a little bit. And Ranel just want to mention that he forgot to say something about the green certificates of the CO2 markets mentioned by BetterVest. Bogor Regency was interested to learn more about this. So this is maybe something also to take into your notes. But I think we can recapitulate in.
Good publicity. Last year at the GCAS, we did it together with the European Investment Bank, and that time it was a perfect fit because they announced the same time their Global Climate City Challenge. So we are looking for a similar opportunity for this year, but we have a call with the TAP partners next week on Thursday. So this is one of the agenda items we would like to discuss with them, who could take ownership and help us with the TAP announcement. And then the plan is that the call will be open till the COP, so till as last year, so for 2 months, mid-November. And I will revise the application form in the following weeks a bit, but no big changes are foreseen. It's more just some adjustments based on the past year experience, but the application form will not be longer, so that I can promise maybe only shorter. And what the experience of our partners is that usually they like the TAP application form as it is. So also European Investment Bank said that for them it was very useful. It really answered all the questions they needed as a first intake form. And after that, of course, they use their very detailed screening, but as a first intake form, it gives all information usually partners are looking for. So, and once the application form is revised, then I kindly ask the support of regional offices with the translation, just like last year and previous years. It would be great if we have the application form also available in Spanish and in French or any other languages. You have the capacity and suggestion that we can also upload them to the website. And because the procedure of the application, it will be just like last year. So there will be again a registration window on the website, and then applicants can go and register there and download the application form from the website and then submit the form to the TAP email account. So it will be the same. And also regarding the eligibility criteria, we would like to keep the focus on the hard infrastructure projects also for this call. But otherwise, there are no limitation regarding the size, no limitation regarding the stage of the preparation. So we accept projects from the scoping till the ready to be implemented phase. And as said, the call is equally open for the global north and the south. So that's on the call. And
We have somebody that raised a hand. I don't know. Rika, do you wanted to comment something?
we don't hear you. Can you please type then your question and then we will answer that? Because I don't hear you.
Okay. In the meantime, hi, Melissa at ICLE Africa translated the application from French. She's resending it now, so she will send some application that is translated into French.
Okay, perfect. Okay, if no more question on the tab call, I will anyway be in contact with you on that. But then, so the last thing I wanted to talk about today, I already shared with you this TAP financial toolkit. And this is a work that already Chang started in 2016 with the goal that it would work as a decision-making tool for local and regional governments to help them to find the right financial tool and mechanism for financing their projects. So honestly, I haven't revised it yet myself either, but it seems to be a great work already what Chang did in 2016. So we would like to build on that. And the idea is if you already had a chance to have a look, that then there are the solutions. The solutions are the different financing mechanism or tools like for example, the green bonds or the public-private partnership or energy performance contract. So the idea is, of course, yeah, I'm happy to get your comments in general on this, but where I particularly would need your support is for these solutions, because we would like that it's an interactive online tool that, for example, when someone clicks on solution green bonds, then gets automatically the definition of the green bonds and all other relevant toolkits, guidelines, case studies already available. So we don't want to duplicate here work because I know that it's already a lot out there. So we only develop new tools and guidelines when there is no one available, but I'm pretty sure that 90% of all these solutions, we already have something existing. So I really invite you to give me all the input you find relevant here, that we can use it for this toolkit. And it would be great if you can do it by the 20th of August, because then it would take quite a time to synthesize all that. And then also we need here IT support, we need support from the communication team, and we would like to be ready by the COP. So the COP is this year, early November. So we would like to present it already at the COP. So for that, we certainly need this timeline. Any comments, questions on this one? Okay, then thank you so much for your time today. And as said, please let me know if you don't have any of these documents we were talking about during the webinar. I will attach all of them again in the email I will send out to you later with the link to the webinar which was recorded. So you will again get all that in the attachment. And if there is no question, then many thanks and wishing you a good day.
Yeah.
Nisha?
Hello, Esther. This
Yes.
is Nisa.
Yes.
Yeah, so during the top marketplace, I had an opportunity to assist Jambi City to have a discussion on their about their project with the funders. And there were 4 organizations that we talked to. The first one is EIIB, and then AIB and Better Face, and the last one was 100% RE. So I think one of the good things from the session was that the city prepared very well for meeting with the financing institution. Not only they prepared a presentation, but also a video to visualize the green urban transport that they would like to propose and get funding for. And as you know, Jambi is a part of long-listed city for the Global Climate City
Yeah.
Challenge. So IB used this opportunity to ask some technical questions, more about which document for project preparation that they have done to support this project. And unfortunately, although they had a partial feasibility study, but the complete document is not yet prepared. That's why they are asking assistance also from AIIB to develop this study. And AIB, they are asking questions more about the land that they are going to use to install the facility for urban transport, who own the land, something like that. And Betterface was not interested with this project because they said that this project was too big. So I think and 100% RE, I think they just gave some inputs on the development of the project with regard to the use of renewable energy for the urban transport.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
yes.
Yeah, that sounds good. If you can keep us just always informed in the loop in those discussions, because for example, so that just we also can push, right? Not to interfere because you are the one on ground. But for example, the AIIB, they are also after this meeting, they now expressed interest for TAP partnership, which okay, we still have to of course see how, but they will also attend the next week TAP partners meeting call, which also shows then this interest. So just and we have very close contact to the European Investment Bank. So if just this, that please keep us always informed, that we are in the loop, and then we can also help you and the project, of course.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll keep you on the loop, and you might already know that some of them had a follow-up activity after the marketplace, especially EIIB. They had a follow-up call on 12th of July to get to know more about the project. They contact directly the CD,
Mhm.
and they were asking for more documents to be submitted, and I think Jambi City has submitted the information they required. But I think right now, based on the information I received from the city, they are still discussing internally uh, more about the limitation faced by local government to access foreign loan.
Yeah.
The one that I told you on email.
I know. It's always difficult. Yeah. Yeah, so it would be very interesting to hear from all you participated in this step marketplace. Where was a follow up? Because that's a very important statistic to see that yeah, this marketplace happens, these bilateral discussions took place, but actually, yeah, follow up is even more important, that it's followed up by action. So yeah, please also, those who now couldn't attend this call, but yeah, please send us those feedbacks, because it's a very important number for us.
So I think we don't have any more questions. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Esther, for the webinar. And if you're fine, Esther, I think we can finish our webinar for today in the morning.
Yes, yes, thank you again for joining us today, and yeah, have a great rest of the day, and of course feel free to write email asking questions if you have any.